You started recording? I have not started it back.
I am recording in Riverside. I am not recording locally.
Yeah, let me do that. See, like I can't face the way I want to face right now because I got a boom on. What am I doing? Audio hijack.
Is it because there's not enough room?
Yeah, not for me to be able to reach the laptop and talk on this. Yeah, because you don't have that over the top thing or whatever you can do with your boom arms. Boom arms, they're important. Get it good.
I have my boom arm hanging from the shelf, the upper shelf on the back of my desk. So convenient spacing. I do miss my boom arm when it's not there. So yeah, as you said, they're important.
Mike's all fancy with his shelves.
Yeah.
I should put some shelves on the back of my desk, but that would first require me to clean it off. So
I want to talk about desks. I spent probably an hour today cleaning up my area, and it's still a disaster. But I have a big box. It's going to go out. Well, it's not super big, but a big enough box. It's going to go out of here to save me a bit of room. So
yeah.
So how was your week?
It was interesting. Better than last week. It was interesting. Yeah. Got around and did some stuff. I think this week I came to a conclusion today that I'm going to. I need to re-implement. Like, oh man, it spun around. I was talking. See, that's why monitoring is important. I'm going to throw some podcast tips this episode, apparently. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Technically Working. You can send us feedback at technicallyworking.show. But that's why monitoring is important, because I was talking and then the microphone swung away from me and I didn't hear myself in the headphones anymore. So I knew, therefore, Mike probably could not hear me. What was I saying? I got to re-implement my stretching routine in the morning. And I'm throwing it out there because it reminded me that when I was doing stretching, I wasn't as sore or sore at all, really. I didn't have the muscle pain I'm having on. My back has been killing me, dude. So got to start back stretching, which will hopefully, before I take off and start running for the day. And that might be a good thing. And physical fitness is important.
It is. It is. It's one of those things that I neglect more than I probably should. So, though,
I think in your case, especially lately, I would say when we first started doing podcasts together, probably much more, but I don't know, you've had your spells where you get out and you're mobile a lot. So you're getting that type of exercise. What I think a lot, and I'm getting that exercise, like whether I want it or not, like I'm getting it. But you don't think about the little small things sometimes, like the stretches. Like I remember a time when I was doing stretches and like I wasn't having pain, and I have not been stretching. I realized it this morning because I stretched, and like today was a much better day physically than I've had in a while, just for soreness and aching. So it's those sorts of things I think that are most important, just to limber yourself up. Maybe take, depending on your mood and your personality, take a moment to meditate somewhere in the day. Contemplate some things. Different things. Just taking care of your physical health as well as your mental health is important when you're operating businesses, when you're doing anything in general. But I want to give I haven't looked at this, so I'm just going by what I've read, but I want to give a big shout out to the Bits team for what they've done in migrating the website to a new platform, and the work that looks like it went into that whole thing. I was not involved with it at all, but I am a Bits member, and so therefore I saw the email and I was like, great job. I was like, they got a lot done in a week or two.
Yeah, a lot done, and even implemented magic links. Taylor and Lauren wrote a plugin that helps with that, so you can quickly sign in. And
I saw that. I wondered, like, are the magic plugin options that were out there not working, or what's going on with that? Because I don't have a hand in WordPress. So I really don't know even if the ones that I used to use for magic links back in the day even work anymore.
Right.
Or maybe they've gone to a billing or something like that.
Right. I wasn't part of that, but man, I'll tell you, they've done some amazing things implementing the paid memberships pro system in the website, getting memberships up so people can go renew their membership. Like where they have gotten Bits to right now is ultimately what I wanted to see out of Bits, but I just didn't have the knowledge slash know-how to do it. So I'm glad Michael and Taylor and Lauren and Larry stepped up and made that happen. Because it is amazing, and it's only going to get better. I have some insight into where they're going with it, and I'm super excited to see where they're going with it as well.
Cool. Maybe we'll get somebody on and chat about what that process was like at some point.
If you want to come on, feedback at technicallyworking.show, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay.
I really want a different domain. Like, this is a thing that's been nagging me for a while. Like, I really kind of don't like the domain technicallyworking.show anymore. I didn't like it to begin with, honestly, but there wasn't anything out there that worked. I think somebody had the .com because, technically working is a somewhat popular phrase, apparently.
So
I did think about technically.works, but I don't think that was available or it was expensive, one or the other.
So,
but anyway, feedback at technicallyworking.show does work.
Talking about domain names, Mallory says, when you're taking on important things and you're doing professional things, maybe you should use your michael@yourownpay.com email because so those who don't know, I will share it on the show here. I have accepted a position at the San Francisco Lighthouse for the Blind. We had a slight problem though, because San Francisco Lighthouse for the Blind was trying to send me some very important paperwork to my email. And it was thought that I wrote michael@payown.media.com on my email address. And so I wasn't getting them. So you got to, as I was telling people in the class I was teaching last week, you got to be careful with these creative domain names because just out of habit, people add .com and it's fully possible I added .com, which would be strange, but that is fully possible. But it's one of those weird things. You got to be a little careful. If you don't get things, maybe, and systems, as we've talked about, some systems won't take the .medias.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I have been tripping up a lot more people than I would have expected with the .io that I have. Because they're looking for more, but it's really anything like that, right? Like if it's not a .com or a .org or something like they're looking for something else after the whatever you said. Mm-hmm. .family, and they're like .family.com. I'm like, I wish I had family.com. No.
I wish I had media.com.
Right?
But yeah. So sometimes,
although what you could do to resolve that issue, and so you still keep your branding intact for Pay On Media is, let me see if it's available before I tell you to go do this. You should just buy
payonmedia.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about that. And now that we've said it, I should probably go buy it if it's available. Because, yeah.
Oh, wait, 40% promo for what?
There's always a 40%.
Oh, I don't need to pay 40. I don't need 40% off of an SSL certificate. I'm not paying for a certificate.
Oh, you must be on Namecheap.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I am on a domain registrar / DNS management site, though. I'm on Cloud DNS.
Gotcha.
Wait, 1Password can't verify what? Oh, it can't verify that Chrome should have
he was
access.
on Cloud DNS. 1Password saved him.
No, it didn't think Google Chrome should have access to my password. Just wanted to make sure. Like, I've seen that before, but I've only seen that since I upgraded to what am I on? What is
Sequoia?
This? Yeah, I think. Is that macOS 15?
Yeah, Sequoia.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I'm still confused because I'm on the new version right now. It just came out. But I wonder,
one coming out Monday.
I wonder why that It's popping up as an alert. I'm gonna drop a message to support and
with AI in it.
just probably not. Oh, you mean the macOS? Yep.
Yes. So went to a CB of Washington convention this last weekend, and I had an amazing time. Running a vendor table with an iClever BK10 full-size keyboard with number pad that lets you connect to 3 different Bluetooth devices at once. All you have to do is push the 3 buttons going from left to right above the number pad. See, there's a separation right here. And then there's Bluetooth 1, Bluetooth 2, and Bluetooth 3. Can you tell I've been talking about this keyboard for the last couple of days? But it was fun, although I did find some limitations with iOS and a keyboard. And it's things like this that kind of frustrate me with where we are. So, for example, I don't know if you ever had this issue, but my voiceover focus, not too often, but every once in a while, we get stuck in that damn dynamic island. And to the best of my knowledge, there is no way to move focus from the dynamic island to like the middle of the screen with the keyboard.
Typing, it throws your focus up to the dynamic island. And then
maybe not typing, but like navigating with voiceover using via left and right arrow key. Oh my goodness. And I really wanted to use my number pad, and you can't use a number pad as a commander on iOS.
Nope, you cannot. Maybe Apple should think about fixing that.
Yeah.
Or adding that as a feature, which would also probably have the side effect of getting us what we have been hunting for so long, which is a number pad that works functionally, not just as a commander on iOS, but for the keypad, actually, to type in numbers. Yeah. So, yeah, let's see if we can make that happen in the next 3 years. It'd be awesome.
Numpad commander. Right option S wasn't bringing me to Safari like I thought it could. Just saying. Although I didn't have to go to Safari too often. Now that I'm using grouping, though, navigating iOS from a keyboard was pretty good, surprisingly.
Now that I haven't spent a lot of time with. Actually, no time with at all.
Yeah, because the keyboard command VO shift up and down arrow will stop and start interacting, and then you can be limited to the group that you're interacting with. So it wasn't bad. And the other one that I want, Apple. Well, I don't know if this is doable. Item Chooser became a good friend of mine. Item Chooser on the phone and Item Chooser on the Mac are different because you have that search field at the top of the screen. And unless I did things incorrectly, you can't just start typing the name of the item that you're looking for and focus move right to that item. So my next thought was, can I use hotspots with voiceover on iOS? And that does not work either. So those are my wishes. Commanders, keyboard and numpad commander, and then the ability to set hotspots so I can jump. Because if you could imagine putting a hotspot on the go to cart button in the Shopify POS app, you could add the things to the cart, hit the button to jump focus all the way down there, and then hit VO space, and then go to the cart and make the changes you need. So.
Yeah, I did a lot of Explore by Touch I think I only mostly have used the keyboard for entering text. I didn't use it as much for navigation because I found just doing Explore by Touch was a lot more efficient for me.
Yeah.
And the layout of the app really isn't bad when it comes to just getting around. I don't do a lot of flicking in there until I'm in a screen that's like new or something like that. I might flick a little more just to make sure I don't miss anything.
But the tap to pay thing worked really smoothly. I had one person use Apple Pay. I love how it beeps twice, so you know when the transaction goes through. I hate how if you add you put a chip into the machine, like a chip card into the machine, it doesn't beep at all. That was a little weird. But VoiceOver did do a good job at saying processing transaction and then transaction approved or payment approved, whatever it said. So you were well informed of that information. I'm liking it. It's pretty smooth. So when I moved my Parallels machine over, everything moved over, and I was so happy. All my logins, my JAWS license, like everything moved over.
I've been buying gear, but not a lot. But you recently got a new piece of gear that I'm kind of waiting on a similar thing to what you're getting now or what you have now. But tell us about the new Mac, man. Oh,
Yeah.
just as a quick aside for everybody that's been listening that went crazy when Mike went back to Windows for a while. See, he's back on the Mac.
I am back on the Mac, and it feels nice to be home. Although Hazel had a new update, so I need to figure out how to get this. I don't know if you saw that, but Hazel 6 is now out, so I need to go spend $20 so I can upgrade my license from 5 to 6. But I did get a new Mac. I am currently running on an M3 Pro with 36 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte SSD. And the main reason I got this, A, is for the portability. And then I got the MacBook, and it's a 16-inch, and realized how not portable it is. I got to get a new backpack. But the other thing is its intention is to be future-proofed on both platforms, both Windows and Mac. And I was able to use Parallels from a MacBook Air without any problems, aside from, when something would happen on macOS side of things, Windows would kind of stutter a little bit. And if I had to turn VoiceOver on or off, something would stutter. And I don't observe that right now. I can consistently run Windows and be in Microsoft Edge using JAWS while talking with Doxy and Google Chrome in the Mac, and that seems to work without any hiccups as of right now. And yeah, it's a solid workhorse. I will give it that. I was rendering a project today at 109x real time, and that's just magic. Like, that's fast. I need to get Isotope installed again, because that's what used to slow things down substantially. And I'm interested to do some rendering with Isotope installed to see how that goes.
Yeah. Isotope is, I need to reinstall Reaper. What was the RAM on that again?
36.
36. Okay. Yeah. See, RAM is what I think was your major slowdown on the Air. Because I think you had to, because some of the things that you notice with, say, Parallels, for example, like I have not experienced that at all with Parallels.
But you have 16, right?
24.
24, yeah.
Yeah.
But like using Parallels right now for me is like picking up. It is faster than the Lenovo that had a rough demise. It's faster than that computer was, and that's even on battery. Oh, by the way, I was going to unplug. Wait, I'm not plugged in. Hold on. Hold on.
Check your battery first. Don't.
36%, and I've been using the Vocaster all afternoon with no battery, no plug-in. So that's positive. What I should do is time it and see how long I can get, because that was an issue on the other Macs, was it would suck up the battery, the Vocaster would. But I'm using this Charge because the power brick on this thing is huge. So I just plugged it into the Charge, and you can get that from AT Guys as well. That passes 100 watts to the computer, so it does charge it even while I'm using the Vocaster. It also gets a little warm too. So not hot to the touch, but it warms up, like it's working. So I'm using the MagSafe cable plugged in to the Mac, and then the other end plugged into the middle USB-C port on Charge. And last week, I'm going to have to play with it some more, but last week I started playing with Mac Whisper and using Mac Whisper as my dictation engine. And have you ever used bump dots on your keyboard?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Neither have I. I've been an anti-bump dots person. Like, why do I need bump dots on my keyboard? And now you know where this is going. I now have a single bump dot on my keyboard. Have you put hands on the MX keys? I forget. You have not, correct?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So the MX keys has all of your function keys all together across the top. You hit F12, you get delete, and then you have your Bluetooth 1, 2, 3, and then whatever these 4 keys are here above the number pad. The problem I had is there's not a dedicated applications key on here. So I always would be looking for F10 when I'm in Windows to do Shift F10. So I put a bump dot on the F10 so I can just put my finger on the F keys, slide it over to the right until I find the bump and it stops me and I can hit Shift F10. And that's the equivalent of right clicking or pressing the applications key in Windows. And I put this on the MX key so I can pop it off and it doesn't affect the Mac keyboard at all or anything. The added benefit of that is I set my dictation key with Mac Whisper to F10. So when I'm in macOS and I press F10, it puts me in a section where I can speak my message about that I want to dictate using Mac Whisper. And then I press enter and it sends that message to Whisper and then inserts that into my text edit field, which means I don't have to use punctuation. That's one of the pros, and it's fairly accurate by not having me use punctuation. It did take a little bit, and I'm not sure if it was actually sending that off or if it was processing that locally. So I'm going to reinstall that on this Mac and see if that experience is any faster, because I was doing that on the MacBook Air. But yeah, Mac Whisper as a dictation engine seems to be pretty darn accurate, and it seems to be reliable as well.
Huh. I'm going to have to set that up. Matter of fact, you have to tell me how to set that up, because I just opened Mac Whisper and I'm like, I don't see anything. And why does it want network access?
It needs network access because it asked for it, and you have to give it to it because it said so. Oh,
Well,
that's in the preferences. Command comma. You can go into the preferences and set up dictation there.
That's what I want to check for update.
Yeah, so I was running version 8 and I checked for updates and he's on like version 10.
Oh. I still bought a lifetime license though. Or wait, no, it was a one-time purchase. This was not a subscription, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either, man. It's done and over it. It's like 2 years ago. So I did a cool thing, or something I hadn't thought about doing with GPT today. I'm not super over the moon, so I won't be using this in all cases with GPT. I think this is going to really push me to go ahead and set up a local model running on the Mac Mini. But I imported a sales report, which didn't have any personal information other than how much money I made in the past week. But I imported that into GPT, or uploaded it to GPT, and I said, analyze this data. And I told it to give me a couple of different things. The first time I was like, analyze this data and give me the top 5 best-selling locations, by sales or whatever. So it did that. I asked it to reorder it. Then I asked it to generate and give me all of the serial numbers. Just asked it to give me different pieces of information out of that document or that upload, and how to give it to me. So give me a CSV file so I can download that and then manipulate that data. And it worked fairly well. I was somewhat impressed.
Good. Did you just use 4.0 or did you use the more reasoning model? I think it's like 1.0
I used 4.0 because when I switched over to whatever it is, hold on, I'll tell you what it's called because I got it open in Chrome, I think. Nope, that's Riverside. Oh, that's Cloud DNS. There we go. What is this? Okay, I'm on 4.0. They got Canvas for collaborating in code, for writing, collaborating in code or something like that. Oh, collaborate on writing in code is Canvas, but that's not what I use. The one you're talking about, I use 4.0. Oh, it's not going to show me right there. Why do you have these? You're making this complicated. No, I don't want to look at my history. Oh, crap. Okay, well, suffice it to say, I know the one you're talking about. It does say preview, beta, more reasoning, and then there's a mini version of that one. No, I did not use that because for some reason with those two models active, I don't have an upload button.
Oh. Maybe it just doesn't support uploaded content.
It's possible.
Narrator is loud.
Oh, it just says, yeah, 01 preview uses advanced reasoning. Yep. 01 mini, faster at reasoning.
I wonder if those are available over the API.
I will. Let's go to the canvas. Since we're going to talk about some code. Are the GPT 01, what did I say it was called?
01 preview?
Yeah. Reasoning models available over the OpenAI.
Did I share the tip that I learned about parallels and spaces?
Nope.
So I think I shared this with you, maybe. But one of the frustrations I have had when using parallels has been that I can't control right arrow to move to the next word. Control plus right arrow. It was driving me crazy. And I dealt with it. It was one of those, okay, I guess I'm going to spell this whole sentence to get to this one word to fix the spelling error. And so that was crazy. That was frustrating. However, what I learned, thanks to Lauren and probably Taylor and ChatGPT, is if you go into System Preferences on the Mac, you go down to Keyboards, you go to Keyboard Shortcuts, you choose Mission Control, and then you go over to the table of Mission Control keystrokes, go down to Mission Control Collapsed, hit VO / to expand it. You have two keystrokes. One is Control left arrow, which moves to the left a space, and one is Control right arrow, which moves to the right a space. And I've never got spaces or mission control to work, so I just turned those off, and then all of a sudden my Control left arrow and Control right arrow let me navigate word by word in parallels. And then there was the set of AppleScript keystrokes that I know we've talked about in the past that binds my caps lock key to macOS, and I can make it so my caps lock key serves as an insert key, which means I, when in parallels, can do caps lock key T, and that reads the title. Right now, I have to use Control Option as my voiceover modifier keys, but there might be some activities I can set up so that will work better for me, because I like using caps lock as my voiceover modifier key. But yeah, so right now I have caps lock T reads me the title of the page that I'm on. Control left or right arrow goes word by word.
I have always found voiceover as caps lock as my voiceover modifier to be unsatisfactory. Well, not so much the caps lock key itself, the attempted reuse of the control and option keys, because there are times where the caps lock just doesn't move voiceover for some reason. But go back to this Apple script that unbinds I think you mentioned this to me before, but I don't have this script, so you got to tell me what it does so I'll see if I need this.
So if you go to my script editor, I have one that says keyboardvm.scpt, I think is what it says. And when I run this script, I get a table that says select a value for the key caps lock. And by default, it's set to caps lock. You can change it to insert, numpad insert, left command, or right command. So if I set it to insert, for example, and I choose modify, it no longer controls I can't use it as a voiceover modifier. It also does not work as a caps lock key. So be aware of that. that you don't have a caps lock key when you do this, there is a second Apple script called reset caps lock key. And if you run that, then it does turn it into a regular caps lock key. But this just gives you the ability to use laptop layout if that's what you desire to use in Parallels, because it allows your caps lock key to be used as an insert key.
Okay. I need you to share this script. I do remember you mentioning this to me, though. But I don't have it. I just looked. I do not see it. Doesn't mean you didn't send it to me and I just misplaced it, but it could be on an external drive somewhere too, which I don't have connected. That's another thing. I have not had my... Hey, I got money coming from Stripe. All right.
Hey, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, man, that's an excellent thing.
I just sent you the Apple script.
Wait, wrong number? Command 6 is Michael. Yeah, I always have that's the first thing I do if I ever wipe a Mac. It's almost one of the first things I do after fixing the voiceover rate and all that is go turn off a bunch of keyboard shortcuts that I don't use. Which I really wish Apple would give me a way to export like my settings from settings, like just the macOS settings. I'm not even worried so much about like third-party stuff that I've configured in system settings, I think is what it's called, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I still use SP to get there. So,
Launch Bar is so nice to have. I need to go reconfigure it. But I had not used Launch Bar at all in the MacBook Air, and I tried to do Spotlight, and it works. You can do it. I just feel so much more productive with Launch Bar. I know others that don't use it, but man, I was able to set up my own alias real quick today to get to my Reaper project. So I just type in PRO, and all of a sudden I'm at Reaper projects, and oh man, it's like
yeah. See, that's what always brings Mike back to the Mac. Ultimately,
it is
Launch Bar and Hazel.
And what's that other one that I need to play with more? Keyboard Maestro.
Yeah.
I
need to do some stuff with that. I'm probably gonna try some GPT assistance to get some stuff done quickly. That'll just work.
Ooh. I didn't even think about that, but I was having GPT build me Keyboard Maestro, walk me through building Keyboard Maestro macros on GPT 3.5. I don't think I've even tried it on 4.0, let alone the Canvas or Reasoning. Huh. That could be fun. Now, the problem I have is I need to think of things that need to be automated. How do you personally now with your more busy schedule, what's worth spending the time to automate versus just doing it?
So, hold on, because my kid is going crazy. And I'm trying to figure out how to save this. Like,
what's that?
There we go. Save to download. So there we go.
What?
Yeah, I was looking for a menu option that was going to let me save it. And I forgot I was in messages, so there was a different way to do it. Yeah, I could have done it a different way. I could have just copied it, yeah, but I forgot I was in messages.
And then
I hit VO Shift M.
Script editor.
But I hit VO Shift M and it saved it. There's a save after all the tap back stuff.
Let me send you this other one.
I am looking to automate things, but I'm also looking at the best way. So I'm still kind of in a phase, and I legitimately, just to put it out there, like I legitimately feel like I should be past this point, but I'm still refining my system. So until I refine, I feel like until I get stuff, hold on, the camera just popped up. I really need to go turn that off somewhere. Where do I turn it off at? Hold on. It'll tell me the document. Oh, turn it off in iPhone settings. I do not need your continuity. I don't turn it off because I keep intending on trying it. Like just to see how it is compared to camo.
But it always gives you the not right now or ask me later button, and you hit that, and later seems to be 5 minutes later.
And it's like, why? My phone's not even in a position where it should be used as a camera. It's like camera down on top of a checkbook. Like, I'm not really sure how that's going to help anybody.
And they'll get your checking account routing number.
Oh no, this is like a serious check. Like it's in. You got to unzip the checkbook. Yeah, it's just laying on top of the checkbook, like on the outside of it. Yeah, it's not. You're not getting nothing but some leather. So as I'm kind of, getting systems in place, and some of this is, as you experience some things, you're like, oh, how I thought that was going to go doesn't work that way. So I need to do this or change that aspect of it. So I haven't really been automating a lot. There are some office things that I do need to automate, and I just need to sit down and take the time to put the effort into it. QuickBooks is one of those things. Because at least with a lot of income transactions, right? Like it'll handle those transactions and kind of automatically filing them once I put the work in to point it in the right direction, right? So when you see a Coke, thing that gets categorized this way, whereas then that cuts down on me having to go in and manually, update information about what this transaction was for, et cetera, et cetera. So there's an automation point there. That's kind of just back office stuff. Some other stuff I'm looking at is I'm starting to read through information for the API for the card reader system that I'm using, because I want to be able to pull data out of there in my way over the API as much as possible, because I want to integrate that somewhere else. And if I'm able to pull that data down, once it's down, I can manipulate it easier than going to log in and download a file. And then, like that just takes too long. I want a script or something to make that automatic. But when it comes to time, you have to look at how much time it's going to save you versus how much time you're going to put into it, right? There are some things, for example, for me, I don't necessarily think I'm going to spend the time right now to do some more Hazel stuff at the moment, because I don't know exactly how I want to file every little file that comes in. But for you, it makes sense to spend the time to do that, because you like, oh, I recorded this audio, it should go here. I did this thing, it should go there, right? You have a system that makes sense, right, for that. I don't have a system for, and I think that's kind of what I'm making the decisions based off of, is where are there systems in place where basically if I sit down, put a little time in, it'll automate that. And that's one less thing I have to do. And that system is not really going to change at this point. I want to start automating stuff that I don't. We talked about this in one of our famous automation episodes. Don't automate things until you know exactly how they work. You yourself should understand how they work before you start automating the thing, because you don't know if it's getting done right if you just start off, oh, let me automate that right away. So, yeah.
And start with baby steps. So one of the things I did is I noticed when I was moving files from the MacBook Air to this computer that I had a lot of GMT 2024 xxx.m4a files in my download file folder. And that's from downloading Zoom links, like Zoom recordings. And I thought, well, what's one way I can keep this downloads folder a little bit cleaner? So the first step I set up was a Hazel rule that says, hey, if there's a file that starts with GMT and ends in M4A, move it to in my downloads folder, move it to a Zoom projects in progress folder that's inside of my Dropbox. So I have a backup of that recording. Because there's nothing like, oh, I'll get working on that recording and I'll get that edited up. And then the day before you're like, oh, hey, I've changed computers twice since then.
Where's the audio?
That Zoom recording. Like, so that has not happened to me yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
That hasn't happened in any form or format where you're like, oh, I need to work on this thing. And then you go to get the thing to work on it the day before. You're like, oh, crap, it's not there. Like, how do I get
so it has happened, but not in this case.
Not with an audio file specifically.
Yes. Okay. Well, no, with an audio file specifically, but not in this transition is what I'm saying. Like not in this computer transition, but it has happened. Where it's like,
it sounded like an experience. Because I've had a similar experience where it's like, oh, I'm going to do that. And then you go to do it and you're like, oh crap, where is that file? How do I actually get that information? I thought I knew how to get it. It's not the way I thought so. It's like, oh crap.
But my goal was, hey, let's clean up this Dropbox or this downloads folder. And what I eventually want to do, and I might use ChatGPT just to help me figure out the logic, is the way I have Reaper set up is when I save a project, it creates a subdirectory for the project in my projects folder, in my Reaper folder, in documents in Dropbox. And so it will copy all of the media. I don't want
That
to
is
move
very
all of
deeply
the media.
nested.
It is
That
very
is super nested.
But in Launchbar, all I have to do is type in PRO, and I'm right there. See? But anyways, so what I want Hazel to do is if it sees a folder inside of my projects folder for Reaper that has an M4A file that matches the same file name as in my Zoom projects in progress folder, then go ahead and just delete it out of that Zoom projects in progress folder, because then I'm actually working on the file and it's in Reaper. So I don't need duplicate copies of that file, but I don't necessarily want to start working on that Zoom file as soon as I get that file.
Right.
So that's the next step of this automation flow.
So I wonder if, see, that's that I haven't poked at Hazel deeply. I've done some basic stuff with Hazel, but I haven't poked at it very deeply. So I wonder if that's something that is possible inside of Hazel directly.
It should be, because I think you can have it search recursively under a folder.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that comparison, like, what is the comparison statement to use there? Like, you know, if this, then that sort of thing. I mean, if it doesn't natively have like the filters you need to make the match that you want to make, like, you know, drop out to a script or shortcuts. I mean, there's Hazel is so flexible because it has all these filters built in for searching and matching files and doing all of that. I think it does support regular expressions, as well as it's always supported scripting like shell scripts or Apple scripts, and now shortcuts.
And the last time I paid for Hazel was 2022. That's why I'm like, you know, I'll spend $20 to upgrade to Hazel 6, because none of the accessibility was broken in this upgrade, like that I have been able to find. They've added features, so now Hazel will OCR PDF files and take action based on the contents of the OCR PDF file. There's a menu option now in the context menu for a file or a folder that says, oh, nope, put this back. If your rule messes up and you know where it goes and you want it to go back, you can have it put it back, and then you can go in and modify that rule to fix where, like, maybe it moved the wrong thing or it moved it to the wrong place. So I thought that was pretty cool. That's something that probably should have been there a while ago, but at least now it's available.
I am not seeing this email from Hazel.
No. I can forward it to you. It's weird that you're not seeing it now. But yeah, Hazel 6 is available.
Have you updated to the beta of 18.2 on iOS?
No, because I don't think I can. I don't know if 18.2 beta is out for 14 Pro Maxes.
That's interesting. I didn't realize. Yes, I have.
Okay.
That's why I didn't
and how's
realize.
That experience been?
It's a little more buggy in some places. There are new features.
Hotspots from the keyboard?
Oh. No.
What about numpad commanders?
No. Although I wonder if you couldn't rig up some of the, I'm about to poke at that, some of the shortcuts that you would want on the keyboard, at least right now with the numpad, by just mapping keys. I wonder, can you map keys to shortcuts?
I don't know.
Because that becomes
and if
more
you can't,
powerful.
Apple, if you're listening,
that's something you really need to fix. Like, you know, that should be like iOS 19 type stuff right there. Not 22 for our hotspots. So one bug I've noticed with VoiceOver is when flicking through a list, for example, it will often skip every other item, so it won't speak it. It'll navigate to it, but it won't speak it.
It'll skip it, but it doesn't. You like can't navigate.
You navigate to it, but it just doesn't speak it. All right. So, like, let's say I'm flicking through a list of email. I have an email from Michael, JJ, and Tia. And I start at the top of the list with Michael, and I flick to the right to go to JJ. It won't read JJ. Like, I come off of the, what is that button? The dictate button right up under the search field, right? I flick to the right, I hear Michael Babcock. I flick to the right again, I hear Jason Medoff. I won't hear Jason Medoff. It'll move me, like, it'll move focus to the JSON meta message. VoiceOver just doesn't say anything. And then I'll flick right again and I'll hear it to you. Right? Like that is a bug that I have noticed is very prevalent, and it has a couple of ways of manifesting itself. So either it doesn't speak the item that you flick to, and it seems to skip like every other one. It's not consistently skipping everything, but it's like that. Or you will flick to an item, let's say it's a button that happens to be second, like you flick once and then you flick again. The second time you flick, if it's a button, oftentimes it'll just say button instead of reading the button label. And you have to flick back off of it and flick back, to actually get it to read the label. So that's become a very annoying bug that I wish I hadn't updated and started experiencing. Mail is kind of jacked up. My suggestion, and if Mike reminds me and he doesn't mind, I will make a little bit, because I won't try to explain it now, but I'll make a little short bit in the next day or two, showing people how to do this if you are on 18.2, which may not be the smartest thing to do because it's going to change, I hope. But so they've introduced the categorization in Mail in 18.2. Mm-hmm. So you got your primary, think Google categories from like 10 years ago, primary updates, transactions, something, promotions or something like that, right? Those little categories where they're trying to filter your mail for you. In my experience, if I tap one of the categories as they're up there on the screen to say switch to updates or transactions, I don't see any mail after that. I have to quit Mail and start over. Now, I don't know what's happening visually, but with VoiceOver, I'm not getting anything on the screen other than, or Mail will, it'll freeze up in Mail, like I can't navigate it all, or I'll just see the category options and then the toolbar at the bottom. There will be no messages. So what I did is I tapped on I think it's the More button at the top right, and basically turned off the categorization feature, because it's kind of broken. Also, I'm not really sure I like people categorizing my mail for me because they tend to put stuff in the wrong place.
I never was fond of, go ahead and categorize my mail, because then I wasn't able to find things in a lot of cases. Yeah,
because some stuff isn't where you think it ought to be, right? Like you would go to updates for certain things that you're looking for and you wouldn't see it in there. You're like, oh, I guess I didn't get that email, and they stuck it in like promotions or transactions for some reason. Like, I don't need my 2-factor codes from Mail going to
transactions, even though they're from Amazon or something.
Yeah, like I don't need that happening. I'm trying to sign it to the bank right now. I don't need to be hunting for an email. Now, conversely, when I did use SaneBox, because I haven't used that in a while, I used their mailboxes for moving stuff, but I was in more control of moving things around, I felt like, than I am with the categorization of like Gmail first and whoever else has done it since then, and now Apple. And just for the Google Android fans out there, or the people who don't like Apple. Yeah, I'm going to say it like, welcome to the party, man. You're like 10 years late for real with the whole categorizing mail. And you're doing just as bad a job as Google did for me, so at least you're on track. Other than that, so they do have GPT now available with Siri. So you can turn that on. You have to turn it on. It's not on by default. And you have an option to sign in or to use it not signed in. Use GPT that is signed in or not signed in. I haven't really played with any other features I think that GPT exposes or having that connection will expose for you. But Siri has not really gotten any smarter. It's actually gotten a little dumber, in my opinion. I'll give you an example. Well, let me ask you this question. If you wanted to know what day Christmas fell on, how would you phrase that request to Siri?
What day of the week does Christmas fall on?
Yeah. So I asked almost the same question. It was like, what day of the week is Christmas on?
Did it
what
say
day
the
of the week
25th
is
of
Christmas
December?
on?
I'm having trouble with the connection. Please try
again.
again later.
Now you want to have trouble with the connection. Okay. No, so the first time I asked her that question, it told me what day Christmas was on in 2021 for some reason. And then proceeded to tell me where it got that information from, which was some online magazine or something.
Yeah.
It's like, that makes no sense. It's like, what day of the week is Christmas on in 2024?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like me to go out to GPT for that answer? Are you serious?
No, I'd like you to be able to give me that answer right now. Like, look at your calendar. You already have access to my calendar, so you can look at the calendar.
Just look at the calendar and tell me what day it is. Like, come on, man. I haven't really played around with Siri too much because of irritating things like that. Did you let it go to GPT and did it hallucinate, or did it have the answer? I think it did actually give me the answer, but it took a long time though, like way longer than I wanted to. With GPT, like I said, you do have to turn it on. It's not going to be on by default. You can optionally choose to sign into your account, which I did because it gives it more access to, basically I'm signed into my account. So, well, no, I wasn't so much thinking about that. Like, I kind of feel like I would like to firewall those two things off at the moment, and keep them separate. But I wanted the access to the more advanced models, that I'm paying for. So that's why I signed in. There's something else I was going to say about, GPT. Oh, it appears, at least right now, this is in beta. So anybody listening, keep that in mind. It could change. But it looks like you have the ability to decide whether you want Siri to ask you, can it go out to GPT with the answer or not? I left that switch on. I think it was on by default, or at least it's now on for me, whether it was by default or not. So it will ask, can it go to GPT before it will send your request out to GPT. I imagine if you turn it off, then it just won't ask you, and you won't know where the answers are coming from unless it tells you. I may turn it off just to see what it does, but yeah. So other than that, everything else seems fairly straightforward, other than the things that I mentioned. Like, everything else seems to be pretty much, oh no, my alarms don't seem to be working on my Apple Watch, which is also on a beta. So I'm not sure if it's an Apple Watch issue or if it's a alarms broken in this beta on the phone issue. One way for me to test that would be to set an alarm and see if it goes off, just for some random time, which I probably should do. My original idea was I just won't sleep with the watch on tonight and then see if the phone goes off in the morning.
I went the whole day without my watch yesterday, and it was weird.
How did you feel? Oh, you felt weird? Man, I went like a whole month without my watch.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt weird because I kept tapping not tapping my wrist, but like intending to tap my wrist to get the time. Because that's what I use to get the time, especially if like either I'm on a phone call. That's the other thing, is when I'm on a phone call and I get, or I get a notification, I like to be able to just look at that notification on my wrist instead of having to pull the phone away from my head and then touch too high on the screen, which then cuts it from speaker to earpiece. And it's just so much easier to tap my wrist to get the notification. So I've grown dependent on this, and the watch might be an upgrade in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. So I went a month without it because for a while I didn't remember I didn't have it on, but we were kind of in the middle of moving. And then I realized I didn't have it on. I was like, well, let's see if I actually really miss it, or what things do I think I'm going to go to the watch for, and then it's not there. So it was more just kind of, do I need this, right? Because it is time for me to upgrade if I'm going to hold on to the watch at all and have it be useful in any sort of way, because I'm on a 6. So voiceover's getting a little weird at times.
Yeah, but you're on the 6, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on a 6. I'm on the 6. So it's been a while. So essentially, I kind of went back to it because the time thing, being able to double tap on the screen and get the taptic time, is also useful. The fitness information is valuable. The notifications, of course, because I'm not having to pull my phone out to find out what's going on with Hurricane, Josephine or whomever. I'm not trying to take light of hurricanes. I just don't remember the J name this year. And I think probably drafts has kind of fallen back into usage for me. I'm thinking about multiple home screens on the watch now, or watch faces. That's what we call them, right? I'm thinking about multiple watch faces, like one when I'm on the go, one when I'm home that has some of the HomeKit controls just right there. different faces for different situations. And I think those can be tied to focus mode. So brings us back around to the old focus modes. Which, have you used this focus mode to reduce interruptions, I think is what it's called in iOS 18?
No, but I'm not sure if that is a AI focus mode or if that's all focus, like all phones.
You should look right now.
Okay, I will
Knock down a cup.
I will knock down a cup. Where is my phone? That's disconcerting.
Are you on 15 on the Mac?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it may also be there too. Although I guess
Open
your Mac
focus
probably
mode settings.
I guess your Mac probably supports Apple Intelligence because it's an M3, possibly, maybe.
Yes, it does. And that'll be available Tuesday. No, tomorrow.
What, Apple Intelligence?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it really though? I mean, is it really available?
What was I going to ask? Hold on.
I haven't tried this focus mode myself. I think I turned it on once and then turned it off, but I think I want to try it to see how does it do as far as allowing the notifications to come through. The summaries and notifications are still very funny.
So I have do not disturb, sleep, and work.
Okay. So it must be an Apple Intelligence feature. I don't think I realized that. It's been there for a while. And your phone is ringing.
No, I don't know why that was going off, but oh. So I'm playing with Local again.
Local by Flywheel.
Yeah. Not sponsoring us right now. Because I need to do those database rewrites you sent me. Like I need to actually get that database imported into a test site and then do the rewrites and then move that site to the production site. Probably using Updraft's migrate tool to move it over to production. But I wanted to make the database rewrites local on my computer, make sure that everything came through, and then run with that because I need a website up, I realize. Like working on other people's websites, and then I go to my website and it's still got the like default WordPress stuff. I'm like, I should work on this.
Yeah. So I've been doing a little bit of background WordPress work, not on my own site. My own site's not even up, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awful, right? Like it's absolutely awful.
You'll get there eventually, maybe.
Yeah, at this point, what's kind of holding me up with that is I really don't know what I want to do with it. Although I did come up with a fairly good idea for at least getting the basics back up real quick. I just need to take time to implement it. The Wayback Machine can be your friend sometimes.
There you go.
Which reminds me, I need to donate to the Internet Archive.
.org.
Yeah, need to do that for sure.
Well, this would put us at about an hour, sir, unless you have something else to wrap up with. But I think that is a decent start. I will say keep an ear on social media /atguys.com. I'm putting the word out there as much as I can. There will be a customer service position posted. It'll be part-time, fully remote. And if you are interested, put an application because the more applications, the more talent we can pick from.
Yeah, and if you don't put an application in, you're guaranteed not to get it.
Amen. I almost didn't put an application in, but shout out to Doug for saying, hey, put an application in on this. Because, Doug can be pushy when he wants to be.
Man, 1Password works so great right now, for the most part. Hey, I think talking about them on the show probably helped. Shout out to the 1Password team for listening. Because they have fixed a couple of issues that I have complained about on the show. But nope, I don't think I have anything else, man. There will be some announcements coming, I think, towards the end of the year, possibly. Oh, and I bought Mike payonmedia.com, so
Oh,
need to invite you to your Cloud DNS, so you can have it.
now I got to set that domain up and all that.
No, really,
No?
you don't. Like, it's actually fairly simple. I want to tell you exactly what to do.
Add it as a domain into Google Workspace?
So add it as a domain in the Google Workspace, and make it an alias domain. So you're not, so that way, and doing an alias domain for people listening, it does two different things for you in Google. Now you only want to do this like I did it with the Bedrock Innovations misspelling, in Google Workspace as well. What that does is it will continue to map a one-to-one as far as I've been able to tell over the years. If I have a bunch of alias email addresses in Google, I automatically get those duplicated at the alias domain. And if I create a new one, I think it also creates a similar one. So that's one reason for doing that too. You don't really care about the route number. You just want people to get the emails to you if you have to use it. And then as for your website, oh crap, you're not using Spin Up WP. You can do one or two things. The more elegant way to do it would be using Nginx or Apache to just have that as a add-on domain for your site, so that all the URLs would map appropriately. So if somebody types in payonmedia.com/contact, it would actually go to payon.media/contact, where it's supposed to. The less elegant way, but still solves the problem, is just make the domain point at your homepage when you're ready. And then no matter what they type in, it just is going to route them to the homepage unless you do some internal WordPress stuff to make it reroute, which I would do it at the server level if I was going to try to make it map.
You don't have a staging site. HostGator does an interesting way of getting a staging site up. I have someone who's using HostGator. And to make a staging site, you just hit create staging site. And then it says working. This will take about a minute. It looks like it copies all your info over to the staging site.
Yeah, there's a few hosts that do that.
What?
I said there's a couple of hosts that kind of got that similar setup.
Yeah, I wonder how you bring stuff live from staging with them. I'll have to look at some of their documentation. Because I know how I would do it. Updraft or DB Migrate Pro.
Yeah, the only problem there is that you have to really be careful with is if you have a high traffic site with a lot of changes that are happening, because then they get out of sync. And you don't want to just overwrite. Like, it's more of a problem for like e-commerce websites, or if you get a lot of form submissions, although you can exclude tables. That's one of the reasons I like Migrate DB Pro. If I'm running a live site and we do some stuff to a staging site to change it, but meanwhile that site has still been getting contact form submissions or whatever, people still been making purchases. You import everything except your Gravity Forms table so you don't overwrite that data. You can skip the tables that you don't want to overwrite so you don't lose that information in the migration. And with Gravity Forms, if you've made Gravity Forms changes, built a new form, you can always use their export import tools or that whatever it's called that comes with the Gravity Kit suite that yanks your form and your feeds you set up with it and all that stuff.
Everything.
Oh,
that's smooth. I can switch over to staging, and then there's a button here. I'm guessing it's big and blue or something that says deploy. And it looks like you hit that, and it takes your changes from your staging site and deploys them to your live site. We'll have to see how well that works, because I'm working with a client who's on HostGator on a pretty much full site redesign, because they moved their site from Drupal over to WordPress. And when they moved their site from Drupal over to WordPress, everything came over, which is okay in some instances, but it makes it difficult to find things in other instances. So we're going to try a whole new redesign, send the client the staging site, say, hey, give me thoughts and input on this, and then potentially just hit this big imaginatively blue button that says deploy and make that live.
That is cool. Man, I kind of want to go back to, I want to do some programming things. I'm not so certain I want to go back to really building WordPress full time right now though.
Yeah.
So, who knows? I'm working on a WordPress project though. Yeah.
Oh, and it even tells you which site you're editing too. Because that's handy to know if you're editing the live or the staging site.
Yep,
I have never done that before.
I have.
Yeah, me too.
I have. A long time ago, and I learned a lesson, and I figured out a way to always distinguish where I was, because I found myself. Now, one time I did it, and it was a complete accident, and I wouldn't have noticed. But I had pushed the site up to staging from local on my computer, not local by WP Engine. I don't like their thing. Or at least I didn't like it when I used it last time. It wasn't great, and I think I'm good. But anyway, I pushed the site from local to staging, and somebody said do something to a thing because it wasn't this way or it was that way and it needed to be this way or whatever. And I actually think you saw this. I pushed some more changes up, and I didn't do the URL rewrites correctly. So when you would click on, you could type in the staging site and see whatever I had done to the homepage. But if you clicked on any of the links, they still were the local.test domain. So for me,
everything was
I'm
working.
clicking the link and it's working because I don't realize that that's happening until, and you were one of the people who was like, I clicked this and it tries to go here. Like, that doesn't work. I was like,
I can't replicate this.
Like, I can't duplicate what you're going through. Or why you don't see this on the home screen is actually what I think it was for a while. I was like, I see it right here. Like, hold on, let me send you a direct link to this page, and then you can, do the thing. And then it's like, oh, it's the dot test. Hold on, let me. Git, though, has also been a great friend of mine over the years.
And on that note,
we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for listening this week, especially to our tip jar supporters. We appreciate every last one of you. We also appreciate all of you who listen and share the show and send us email, which you can do by sending an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show. We're on Mastodon. I'm going to let Mike give you his Mastodon now because I can't even do it.
Payon, Payown @dragonscave.space. That's DRAGONSCAVE.space.
I am Damashe, DAMASHE @unmute.community. And you can always interact with us using the hashtag technicallyworking. And I will thank you in advance for capitalizing the T and the W. Oh, I got a challenge. Not a challenge so much as like a question for the audience. See if anybody has any ideas.
Oh.
You stop recording?
No.
Oh. You're like, oh. And I was like, oh, why you stopped the recording already? Never mind.
No. It was what's your question?
So I am looking for... I should have said something when I first thought about it because now I don't remember what I was looking for. I thought about it like an hour ago, 30 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, I'll have to remember to ask people if they have any suggestions for this. What was I doing? That might help. Okay. Might as just cut all that out because I don't remember.
Yeah, I was going to say, might as well just cut that last part out then.
Oh, now I remember what it was. There we go.
Yeah.
Looking at invoice. All right. So I recently purchased a portable scanner, and by portable I mean like it's battery powered, and it does not connect to I didn't buy the version or the model that has Wi-Fi that works with the iPhone app, which I kind of wish I would have done. However, we're still in that 30 days for return to Amazon. But it occurs to me that I should reach out to our audience and ask, like, if anybody has any suggestions for portable scanners. I have a scanner in the house that works perfectly fine. It just needs to be plugged into a wall. That is a dedicated scanner, but I wanted one portably because I realized I will get behind on keeping up with receipts or scanning in invoices if I don't do it instantly. Because if I do it instantly, one thing for me that makes it a lot easier and much less frustrating to do it after the fact is if I have just gotten gas at a location, at a gas station, and I run the receipt through there, I can name it the gas station, whatever receipt right then, instead of later on with a pocket full of receipts having to figure out like, okay, which one is this, then appropriately naming them. So trying to clean that up a little bit. However, I haven't used this scanner on the road as of yet, but I'm not in love with it. I know there are apps you can use to take photos. Somebody suggested that to me, and I was like, I don't really think that's optimal because none of the ones that I at least am aware of give you the appropriate amount of guidance, if any guidance, to take the picture I need. Like I actually need this receipt to be digitally captured or the invoice I'm scanning or whatever to be digitally captured for, retrieval at some point. Like not just to tell me what it is, but like I may need to produce this for somebody in the future to be like, no, Mr. IRS person, I did not launder any money. I bought gas and gas was just expensive. And here are the receipts for all the gas I bought.
Yes.
This is what I'm thinking about. So I need it to be, which is why I'm looking at a actual physical scanner. If somebody has an app that I should try, I will take a look at it if you can, sell it to me. Otherwise, I'm looking for portable battery powered scanner recommendations. The one I have is a Doxy Go. Never heard of Doxy before, but it's a Doxy Go portable scanner. I've seen others that people make. I just grabbed this one because it happened to be on sale on the most recent Prime Day. Just took forever to get here. So, again, the model I have does not have Wi-Fi because that's not the one that was on sale. And I also don't think I realized there was a difference. I just was like, oh, I've been looking at these. But at any rate, the one with Wi-Fi does allow you to connect to an iPhone app. From what I can tell from just the initial screens of their iPhone app, it does appear to be accessible. But without being able to connect it to a scanner, I won't know how accessible it actually is. I don't think I want to go back and just buy the Wi-Fi version of this one because, again, the build quality of this doesn't. It makes me concerned that it'll get beat up and then it'll stop working. Right. And that may just be an overall concern. I have to figure out some other way of dealing with it. So if anybody has scanner recommendations or just, a different way to deal with your receipts until you can get them back to your scanner and scan them, love to hear it. Feedback at technicallyworking.show, or we gave you the Mastodon stuff, or just use hashtag technicallyworking on Mastodon. And, that way more people can be included in the conversation, I guess.
Boom. It's a good way to wrap it up. And they'll be like, why are they giving the Mastodon? And then there's still another 5 minutes.
Because it's technically working.